Wizards have rumored interest in signing a point guard this offseason. We're going to get into that in some pre-draft workout quotes and how some workouts went. We're going to get into that. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver. You can follow me on Twitter at EDTOOOFLATT. So today I want to get into the Wizards have rumored interest in point guard Shane Larkin. Also want to get into some pre-draft workouts. Johnny Davis has worked out with the Washington Wizards. I just want to talk about. There's some quotes from NBC Sports Washington and various Washington Wizards beat reporters that I want to go over that I thought stood out. Also, the Wizards will be working out Tari Eason from LSU on Monday, so stay tuned for that. I think he's a good player out of LSU. High energy. He is a dog, so he fits that box. He checks the box on that end. Has a long wingspan, a very good defender, had a good wingspan, had a good combine as far as measurements. So I'll probably talk about Tari Eason tomorrow after we hear more about his workout. And Johnny Davis, talk about him a little bit later on. But I do want to get into the Wizards having rumored interest in point guard Shane Larkin. Shane Larkin, if you didn't know who he was, he did play for Miami University. Just looking at some of his accolades, he doesn't fit the box. He doesn't check the box, as Bradley Beal said on NBC Sports Washington in the postgame. He said that they want taller guards. Shane Larkin comes in at 6 feet. 175 pounds, probably similar to the body type of a Howell Neto or body type of a Ish Smith. So doesn't check that box. Does he check the box of being a dog? Sure, I would definitely say that. Out of Miami, he's 29 years old, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, played for Miami University. He was all ACC and the ACC Player of the Year in 2013, was a former first-round pick. And I think Tommy Shepard, he's drafted in 2013. He was the 18th pick in 2013. His NBA career didn't pan out the way, for a first-round pick, but he played for the Mavericks in 2014, played for the Texas Legends G League team, the G League team. Then he played for the Knicks in 2014, 2015. Then he played for the Nets in 2016, and then he went overseas for 2017 and played for Bas Kania. And then he came back to the NBA in 2018, played with the Celtics. And then ever since 2018, he's played for, I'm probably butchering the name of this team, Anadolu Efes. And he's a two-time EuroLeague champion, all EuroLeague first team, all EuroLeague second team in 2021, was in the EuroLeague 50-40-90 club. So this potential signing, and I'll say the source who said that the Wizards are interested, his name is Donatas Urbonis. He is a senior staff writer for for Basket News. So he came up with this news. Multiple sources have said this. So where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there's a lot of truth to this. Tommy Shepard, you see the move that he made with Anthony Gill, signing him from overseas. That was a low veteran minimum signing. But the thing is, with Shane Larkin, per Basket News sources, Shane Larkin made around $3.2 million per year with Anadolu Efes. Now, he said that he wants to make that. If you read the article, and I'll read a little bit of the article, he has said, he's quoted to say that he wants to make around that same amount of money. For him to come back to the NBA, he has to make around that same amount of money, and he has to be guaranteed a role to get playing time. He does not want to come back to be a third-string guy. So this is the quote from the article. This is from Larkin said to Fansided in 2020. He said, quote, "I will not go back to the NBA as a third point guard," end quote. So we only have one point guard under contract right now. That's Ishmael Smith, and it's not even a fully guaranteed contract. It's about $4.7 million. It's a team option. The Wizards can decline the option for Ish Smith if they want to, or they can pick up the option and bring him back. Saturansky, that's another point guard that is a free agent. Howell Neto's a free agent. He's not really a point guard. Howell Neto's he's a shooting guard in a 6 foot tall guy's body. He's an undersized shooting guard that is a shoot first, get to the basket guard. He's a combo guard in a 6 foot tall body. I like Hollow Neto, but that's the position where he thrives at is scoring. That's the skill that he thrives at. Ishmael Smith, another undersized guard, but he comes in and does things very well. He gets guys open shots. He sets guys up, pushes the pace. Him and Gafford had good chemistry this year, pick and rolling. Thought he had good chemistry with Porzingis. Sato played really well towards the end of the year too. I thought the Wizards played better defensively, and the offense looked a lot better with Sato running the point. His chemistry with Porzingis and other guys as well. But what does that mean? Bringing in Shane Larkin definitely brings up some question marks for some other guys on the roster, especially at the point guard position. You look at Sato. Sato is getting offers from Barcelona, and there are some good offers because they know what Sato can make in the NBA. So they have to match that salary, and they're going to guarantee him to be more of a vocal point of the team where, Sato knows that Tommy Shepard is looking for a point guard to start next year. Maybe Sato might be guaranteed a starting spot overseas and be making the same amount of money that he could get in the NBA or even more. So Tommy Shepard's he's in a tough spot, not just for the starting point guard, but he's in a bind somewhat or a competition for the backup point guard spot. Bringing in Shane Larkin is an indication that, hey, we believe that Shane Larkin can come in and be a backup point guard. So I do want to get into some more numbers and accolades from Shane Larkin and what he can bring to the roster too. But before we do get into that, this episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports development, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline where the game starts. So I was wrong about the Warriors-Celtics game. Game 1, I picked the Warriors to win. They ended up losing that game. Al Horford went crazy. So once again, I'm wrong, but I have the Warriors winning game 2 against the Celtics. Right now I'm recording during the game, so I'm going to pull up the ESPN app here and see what the score is. So the Celtics are winning 37-35, second quarter, 7 minutes left to go in the second quarter. But personally, I think the Warriors are going to win. I got the Warriors winning this series. So you can hold me to it, hold my word to it. So if you are taking betting advice from me, I have the Warriors winning the series. But also we have an important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcast even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcast. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. So that is for the Locked On Network. Make sure you guys fill out that survey. So you guys have a possibility to get 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. That's a pretty darn good deal there. So don't want you guys to miss out on that. But Shane Larkin went to Miami, had a great career. So I just want to talk about some numbers about Shane Larkin here and how well he did overseas. So he averaged in 2020. I already said the 29-year-old. This is from the article. The 29-year-old, he made the All Euroleague second team in 2021 and the All Euroleague first team in 2022 and won consecutive Euroleague titles. He ranked in the league's top 5 this season in points with 14.7 points per game, assists with 5.3 assists per game, and 3-pointers 2.4 per game. So the Wizards, were 26 in 3-point percentage. So any guard that can knock down a 3 can space the floor. I think that's what the Wizards need. They just need shooting. They need defense, obviously. They're ranked 26 in defensive efficiency. So they can use both. Can Shane Larkin defend? Is he too small? Is he going to be a guy that teams look and use as a mismatch since he is 6 feet tall? But I feel like, watching him at Miami and watching him play somewhat with the Celtics and Mavericks and other teams, I thought he did give effort defensively. So he could possibly help on that end. But he's a guy that can knock down threes and can score at will. Is a bucket getter for sure. So I think he would be a solid point guard option, but would he be better? Would he be a better option than Ish Smith? That's the question mark. Would he be a better backup point guard option? Than Tomas Satoransky when Tomas played really well last year. I thought he did a darn good job last year down the stretch. And more stats from Shane Larkin. He was 38% from the 3-point line. He was 38% from the 3-point line. He also had 49 points against Bayern Munich in 2019, which is the EuroLeague record. He was among the top scorers on the circuit. He is one of the main free agents in Europe this summer and will be difficult to find. So there is going to be competition bringing Shane Larkin in. It's not a shoo-in, but this shows, this is what Tommy Shepard is looking for in the point guard position. In the NBA, he averaged 5.5 points and 2.9 assists. So you just know that you have to guarantee him a spot on this roster to play, not just be on the end of the bench, a rotational piece. This guy is he's guaranteed a roster spot and guaranteed playing time. Like I said, the question marks are: is he a better option than Sato? Is he a better option than Ish Smith? Those are the question marks for me. Are you capable? Does the Sato want to come back to be a backup point guard? So it takes two sides to tango. What is Satoransky thinking? Ish Smith, I feel like he wants to come back. I think he loves playing with the Wizards. I think both sides like each other, in my opinion. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ish is brought back. But it sounds like they really like Shane Larkin, but we'll see how this plays out. I think it's a solid move. Is it a needle mover at all? It's not, and we'll see if the Wizards draft a point guard or if they draft somebody in the second round. There's some good point guards out there. Alondas Williams from Wake Forest, I just watched him a little bit, and I think he would be a good backup. I like Ryan Rollins out of Toledo. I think he would be a good backup point guard, a young backup point guard that you can get on a second round rookie contract compared to bringing in a Shane Larkin. So there's some other options out there that you might want to explore other than Shane Larkin. The Iverson Molinar from Mississippi State. I think he's an explosive point guard. So there's some options out there. But let's transition to, I do have one question that I wanted to get to on Twitter. This was from, and this is not a mailbag episode, but TJ Hooks. He asked me a question and I wanted to answer it very quickly. And then we'll get into some of the pre-draft workout quotes that I thought stood out and some information that I learned from some Wizards B reporters. TJ Hooks on Twitter is at TEEJAYHOOKS. He says that proposal of Kuz and a pick swap was intriguing. This was from a couple episodes ago. He said a thought I had afterwards was if Bradley Beal comes back, is he confident in Rui Hachimura coming back into the lineup, or how would the lineup shake up after that trade? So, I think the trade that I proposed, or a mock trade, was Kyle Kuzma, the 10th pick, moving up to the Kings' 4th pick, just for their 4th pick. So it would be Kuzma at 10 for the 4th pick, and then with the 4th pick, we would draft Jaden Ivey out of Purdue, who I think is the number one pound for pound player in the NBA draft. I just think he's the best player. I think he's the most explosive player, has the best first step, has the best self-creation, has the best change of pace off the dribble in the NBA draft. And I think his game really translates. He shot 5 free throws a game. That shows how he can really create a shot for himself and finish through contact and create contact, and the ability to draw a foul, and the athleticism that he shows, the explosiveness. I think he has that dog in him. He shot very well from the three. He shot solidly from the 3-point line. The mid-range game is something he needs to work on, but I think that's something that he can develop. But I think he has the most star power, and I think he has the most all-star potential out of everybody in the draft, pound for pound. There were some games at Purdue, some of the dunks that he had, the explosive plays, the finishing above the rim, the finish through contact. It just looked like an NBA player. With NBA spacing, I just think Jaden Ivey is going to be at least a 5-time All-Star at minimum, in my opinion. So, but to get back mainly to the question he said, I thought I had afterwards was if Brad comes back, is he confident Rui back in the lineup? I think, honestly, if that's the lineup, and I wrote it down, if you get Jaden Ivey, I would play him at the point guard position. Then I would have Bradley Beal at the 2 position. And then I would have KCP at the 3, or signing Gary Harris or Malik Monk at the small forward position. Kyle Kuzma would be your – oh, I'm sorry. I wrote down Kuz, but he's not going to be in the roster anymore. Rui would probably take the place of Kuzma at the 4 spot. And then Porzingis would play the 5. So the starting 5 would be Jaden Ivey, Bradley Beal, KCP, or Malik Monk or Gary Harris signing those guys via free agency. Rui Hachimura would be your 4, and Porzingis would be your 5. And then off the bench would be Denny, Sato, either Sato, Ish, or Shane Larkin, Daniel Gafford off the bench, and then some other free agents that we would sign in free agency would be off the bench. So, but Rui, yeah, I would be confident. If Kuzma's traded, I think Rui or Denny would start, and I think Rui would be the starter at the 4. So I think Bradley Beal or the Washington Wizards would be very confident in Rui playing in that 4. So I just feel like one of the 3 guys, Rui, Denny, or Kuz, I feel like one of the guys will be traded, but if not, it's fine. They just have to find a way to get minutes for these guys. There's a log jam at that spot. Tari Eason is working out with the Wizards, and that would be another forward, a small forward, 3/4/5. There were times where Tari Eason played center at LSU as well, coming off the bench. So it's just another guy who plays that same position as Kuz, Denny, and Rui. It's just you got to pick one of these guys, and there's not a lot of minutes to go around for these guys. So that's the tough part. Last year was a good problem to have until it became a problem, and it became a problem last year. They had to consolidate and make some trades. So, if you want to see Denny develop or Kuzma develop, or Rui, or really Kuzma just play to the best of his abilities, or Rui develop and become the best player that he can be, then you might have to make a business decision with one of these guys and get value, especially with Rui's contract coming up this year. This is a contract year for Rui coming up. He will be going into his 4th NBA season, so he will be a restricted free agent after the 2023 season. So it's a big year for Rui. It's a really big year for Denny as well. And you can throw Kispert in the mix as a 3 as well, as a small forward. KCP plays small forward too. So you got guys, a lot of the guys at the same position there. So that would be the lineup for me. So let's get to the quotes here, and then we'll wrap up. So this one is, so like I said before, they will be working out Tari Eason tomorrow. The other guys that they had a couple days ago, they had Eric Ayala, Anthony Duruji. Eric Ayala went to Maryland University. I'm a Terps fan, so I like Eric Ayala a lot. He's a scrappy point guard. He's a bulldog kind of point guard. Can get to the basket, can score all 3 levels. Didn't shoot the 3. He shot the 3 at about an average percentage, which was solid. I liked him a lot when he played with Anthony Cowan. I love that backcourt. That was one of my favorite backcourts at Maryland, other than Melo Trimble and Dez Wells. Grant Golden, haven't heard much about him. Brandon Horvath, haven't done my research on him. Daryl Morcell went to Maryland as well, played with Eric Ayala as well. He was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, so he's a scrappy guard. There's going to be, the thing about this draft, there's only 56 picks. I know in the draft there's 58 picks, I'm sorry, not 60. 2 picks were forfeited from teams. And then you got to remember, a lot of these guys had a COVID year. So there's a lot of older guys. There's a lot of guys who transferred and had been in college and played 5 years of college. Daryl Morcell played at Maryland 4 years, and then he was granted another year and transferred to Marquette. So you got to keep in mind that these guys they have a lot of college experience. It's just like in the NFL, in the draft, a lot of the guys in the draft were older. They played 5. There were some guys that played 5 or 6 years of college football because they were granted an extra year of eligibility because of the virus year. So you got to keep that in mind. So there's going to be a lot of, the Wizards talk about finding a diamond in the rough. Anton Jameson said that. I don't necessarily see that at pick 10, finding a diamond in the rough, but in the second round or undrafted, it's time for the Wizards to find their Max Strus. It's time for them to find their Herbert Jones. It's time for them to get their Nikola Jokic, their second round, or a Desmond Bane. Where are the Wizards can the Wizards find a guy in the rough? Can they find a Desmond Bane? Can they find a Gabe Vincent, a Max Strus? Can they do that? Are they capable of doing that? I think Daryl Morcell would fit in that category, just being a defensive bulldog and a defensive juggernaut. And he raised his 3-point percentage with Marquette. That's one thing he wanted to show and do, and he was able to raise his game defensively. So this is from Quentin Mayo, beat reporter, the Washington Wizards. He says feedback from team sources about the workout with Morcell and Eric Ayala. He says Morcell was probably the best out of the group. Anthony Duruji's effort impressed those in the gym, and he said Eric Ayala did some good things. He also had some sources about the Johnny Davis workout as well. Day 2, that was day 1 with Eric Ayala and Daryl Morcell. Day 2 was Johnny Davis, where Johnny Davis had the solo workout. Colin Gillespie from Villanova worked out as well. Kofi Coburn, the big man, the big behemoth out of Illinois. He's 7 feet tall, about 2. I got to look up how much he weighs, but he's a big guy. He's a big fella. Quentin Jackson from Texas A&M. I just learned about him. And he upset Auburn in the SEC quarterfinal with Texas A&M, and they were the 8th seed, and he led them to the SEC championship. Keve Aluma, I got to do my research on him. Justin Bean, I have to do my research on him. Marcus Bingham Jr. was a part of the day two workouts as well. I got to do my research on him. Quentin Mayo said feedback from a team source. He said Quentin Jackson killed the workout, got a ton of buckets and tough buckets as well, tough ones. He says Johnny Davis's shoot was good, but his shooting was just okay. And then also the last comment was Gillespie is a dog. Colin Gillespie was in college for a long time. You know, guys out of Villanova, they usually hit the ground running in the NBA. You look at Sadiq Bey, he's playing well. The guy from the Thunder, I forgot his name. I think he was number 50 for the Thunder. He's playing really well out of Villanova. So Villanova, they had some good Jalen Brunson. So that program, Josh Hart, Villanova, they have that pedigree and they've coached up a lot of guys. They have a winning program. They've won the national championship a couple of times in the last 5 years. Dante DiVincenzo for the Bucks. So Villanova, they produce talent. They produce guys who can defend and play hard. That's one thing when you play for Villanova, you play hard. That's one thing you definitely say. And Colin Gillespie definitely fits that bill. So that's another undrafted free agent. And then Pooh Jeter, who is a part of the G League Ignite. I want to say he's the head coach. And he says Quentin Mayo is not lying about the Quentin Jackson feedback. Just got off the phone with my peoples from the Wizards. Keep it going, bro, at Fly Guy Q, talking about Quentin Jackson, destroy everybody. So I just want to talk briefly about Quentin Jackson here before we get off. Quentin Jackson, you look at some of the numbers. He is 6'5", 175 pounds. He is a shooting guard. When I watched him play and watched some of his highlights, he reminded me of Jordan McRae. He reminded me of Jamal Crawford, Jordan Clarkson. And he's what I'm looking for. I want them to get a microwave guy like how Cam Thomas for the Nets was last year. That's what the Wizards, they need one of those guys. They need an instant impact scorer, a guy that can create a shot for himself. And I feel like that would be great coming off the bench after Bradley Beal. I talked about him times and times again, where Bradley Beal he hasn't really had a great shooting guard come off the bench, in my opinion, while he's been with the Wizards. I mean, we had Martell Webster, Austin Rivers. They tried CJ Miles. They tried Jody Meeks. They tried Marcus Thornton, who was okay. Jordan McRae was fine. I like Jordan McRae a lot. Jordan Crawford off the bench. But I think the Wizards could definitely use a shooting guard that could just come in and be a microwave scorer, a professional scorer like Cam Thomas for the Nets was his rookie year. Jordan Clarkson is now. Lou Will, guys like that. But looking at the numbers off of college stats reference, Quentin Jackson averaged 14.8 points per game, 82% from the free throw line, which is really, really good. 5 free throw attempts per game. So he got to the free throw line a lot. 2 assists per game, 1.8 steals per game, 3.5 rebounds per game. For a guy that's 6'5", that's pretty solid. He's really athletic too. He had a couple of highlight dunks, plays really above the rim, and had a glass block against Auburn where he just pinned somebody's shot off the backboard. So super, super athletic there. He started 15 games, so he came off the bench. So that's what he is. He's a microwave scorer, 6-man score off the bench. So if you can get him undrafted as a UDFA, an undrafted free agent, I think he would thrive in that role for the Washington Wizards. And that would be great for him. And he's a career 34% three-point shooter. Or he shot 34% from the three this year. The year before that, in 2021, he shot 41% from the three on 3 attempts per game. So he shows that he can shoot the three, and he can shoot free throws really, really well at 82%. So I like him a lot. So this is the last. I'll read a couple quotes. This is from Andrew Gillis at NBC Sports Washington. He wrote an article about Johnny Davis. You can watch some of the YouTube videos of the workouts on Finest Magazine's YouTube page or Hoop District's YouTube page. They do post the workouts of the guys who worked out with the Wizards. They do post-game interview or post-workout interview. So if you want to watch those, you definitely can. Go to the YouTube pages. This is quote, Johnny Davis never had a workout like that before. He said, quote, but I'm happy to be able to get as much experience as I can in before I hopefully get drafted and go play in the season. He also talked about his talk with Tommy Shepard. He says, quote, Mr. Shepard is a really cool guy. I saw him at the lottery and at the interview. Davis said, I enjoy talking to him. Coach Unseld seems like a really hardcore, intense dude. I could tell that sitting in the interview, I like that kind of coach. He's all business, no jokes, end quote. And then he also is quoted to say, back when they had John Wall talking about the Wizards, I watched them a lot, end quote, Davis said. And then quote, he says, I really enjoy watching them, and especially Bradley Beal. I think that's a player I could really try to model my game after. So the quotes are telling that it gives insight that they have met with Johnny Davis multiple times at the combine and then with the solo workout. So there is strong interest, in my opinion, and he fits what they're looking for. They want a point of attack defender. They want a guy who plays hard with their hair on fire. 8.5 rebounds per game for a guard is just insane. in my opinion. The way he can create a shot for himself and score and get to the basket. Big Ten Player of the Year. He just has to improve the three-point shooting, but everything else, ball handling is on a string, in my opinion. He can score at will. He can score from the post, and pedestrians can score with both hands. He can dribble the ball with both hands. I think he would just be a good pick. And the defense, he's a guy that plays in the passing lanes as well and gets steals and can play above the rim. So I think Johnny Davis fits what the Wizards are looking for to improve defensively, and guys who can play both ends and not just be one-dimensional, either a defensive stopper or just an offensive guy. I think he can do both. So I think Johnny Davis would be a great signing. He said when they had John Wall, he watched the Wizards a lot, and he models this game after Bradley Beal. So he answered the questions really, really well. So I like what I'm hearing about Johnny Davis there, saying that Wes Unseld Jr. is an intense guy. No jokes at all. That was pretty funny to me. So, but yeah, you can tell Wes, sometimes you do want to see him fired up a little bit more. Looking at some of the post-game interviews, he's more of an even kill guy. So it is intriguing to hear that, Johnny Davis said that he's a serious guy. So you guys let me know what you guys think about the interviews and the quotes from the workouts. Tari Eason, they will be working him out on Monday, so we'll talk about that. And I just want to thank you guys for listening. And making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NBA. From the first jump ball of the play-in tournament to the last possession of the NBA Finals, Locked On experts take you deep inside the playoffs with insight and analysis affecting all 30 teams. Hail to the Wizards.